Hello, welcome back to We the People Politics. Today, we will be making a hypothetical prediction map for Donald Trump's best case scenario in the presidential election. I previously made a similar prediction back in March. However, we have since had Trump's conviction in the hush money trial, a horrible debate performance by President Biden, the subsequent calls for him to drop out, the assassination attempt in which Trump was shot, and most recently, Trump's selection of J.D. Vance for his running mate. There has also been a significant change in polling data and the betting markets, so that prediction is certainly outdated. This prediction will be based on polling data, historical trends, demographic trends, recent events, and my own personal interpretations. So, with all of that said, let's get predicting. We will first start with the safe states, which are determined by a margin of 12 percentage points or more. For President Biden, these states will be Hawaii, California, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Vermont. For President Trump, these states will be Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North and South Dakota, Nebraska and its 1st and 3rd congressional districts, Kansas, Oklahoma, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, South Carolina, and Maine's 2nd congressional district. In addition to those, we will also give him Texas, Florida, and North Carolina. I think that making North Carolina safe in my previous prediction was a mistake at the time. However, with the debate and the assassination attempt, I think that there is a possibility that it shifts 11 points in Trump's favor. This will give Trump a 150-point lead with 235 electoral votes to Biden's 85. As for the remaining states, we would go from west to east, starting with the state of Washington, where Trump would only have to improve by 7 points to bring it to a likely margin. And since I don't think that he would be able to improve here by at least 14 points, I think he would lose it by only a likely margin. A likely state is determined by a margin of 5 to 12 percentage points. Oregon is a very similar state. However, with the somewhat recent governor's race being very close, Portland electing a tough on crime district attorney, and it being 3 points closer than Washington in 2020, it could go for Biden by under 5 points, so we will say that it is lean Biden. A lean state is determined by a margin of 2 to 5 percentage points. Over in Nevada, Trump would only have to improve his performance by 7.5 points to make it likely, and since he is already winning in the polling by that margin, we will say that Nevada is likely Trump. It is a very similar story in Arizona, and if it weren't for its recent electoral history and the growth in Phoenix, I might have been willing to say it could be safe. However, for this scenario, we will say that it is also likely Trump. In the previous best case scenario, I said that New Mexico was tilt Biden. However, with everything that has happened since then, we'll say that he can win it, albeit by a tilt margin. A tilt margin is determined by 2 percentage points or under. Colorado may not be the battleground state it once was, given that Biden managed to win it by 13 points in 2020, but it could be potentially close. And in an absolute best case scenario, I can see Trump improving by 11 or 12 points. So we will say that Colorado will be tote Biden. Moving on to Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, Trump was able to win it by 2 points in 2016 before losing it by 6 points in 2020. And I think he can absolutely win it again by just under 5 points at best. So we'll say that it is lean Trump. Moving up to the state of Minnesota, Trump came within 2 points of winning it in 2016 and has been very close in their polling averages recently. So I think that Trump could potentially take it by a lean margin. In the neighboring state of Wisconsin, Trump only lost it by half a point in 2020, meaning that he would only need a 6 point shift to take it by a likely margin. I think that with J.D. Vance as his running mate, he could get close to making it safe, but we'll say that it is likely Trump. Moving down to Illinois, Trump would only need to improve by about 11 points to bring it down to a lean margin. And since he seems to be doing very well among urban African American voters, I think we can say that it can be lean Biden. Up in the state of Michigan, Trump seems likely to increase his current lead by enough in the landslide scenario to get above 5 points, so we will say that it is likely Trump. I almost decided to move Georgia to the safe column. However, with the growth it has experienced in Atlanta, I'm not quite ready to say it can shift right by over 12 points, so it will continue to be likely Trump. Moving up to Virginia, I previously had it at tilt Trump. However, with the polling data indicating a close race here, with Trump barely leading the RCP aggregate and everything that has happened since, I will increase his lead to lean Trump. I don't see Pennsylvania getting more Republican than Wisconsin this election cycle, and if it does, it won't be by much. So we'll say that it is also likely Biden. Biden won Delaware in 2020 by 19 points, and I don't think that Trump has the ability to improve his performance by 14. However, I think he can absolutely improve by at least 7, especially given that Hillary Clinton won by only 11 points in 2016. So we will say that it is only likely Biden. Polling out of New Jersey since the previous video has been surprisingly close, with Biden leading one poll by 6 and Trump leading another by 1. Trump also held one of, if not the largest campaign rallies in history in Wildwood, so I think that my previous likely ruling on it was wrong, and it could come down to the wire, so we will say that it is tilt Biden. Polling in New York has been closer than expected this year, with Biden leading by only 8 to 12 points, which would suggest that it could go below 5 points. However, I'm not willing to say that it can shift right by 18 points, but I do think it can shift by 11, so we will say that it is likely Biden. It is a similar story in Connecticut and Rhode Island, where I don't think that they will shift right by as much as New York, but they would only need an 8 and 9 point shift respectively, so we will say that they both are likely Biden. Moving up to the state of New Hampshire, Trump leads the most recent poll there by 2%, and seeing as he would only need to improve his performance by 9 points in order to win it by 2%, it will be lean Trump. Moving over to our final state of Maine, I think that Trump could definitely lower Biden's lead in the 1st district to under 12 points, so we will say that it is likely Biden. Regarding the state at large, we have seen 3 very close polls here, with Trump leading one of them by 6%. So we will say that Trump can improve by 11 points and take it by a lean margin. And with that, we conclude this hypothetical prediction. Trump wins with 347 electoral votes to Biden's 191. Again, with the assassination attempt, the debate, and the calls for Biden to drop out, I think there is absolutely a possibility that Trump can win this by a modern day landslide. Unfortunately, this map could quickly prove to be irrelevant, as there have been reports that Biden, due to COVID 19 and pressure from Democrats, may drop out very soon, which at this point I will be surprised if he doesn't. Make sure to comment your thoughts down below. Please like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it very much. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.